You wake up. You walk to the bathroom. You sit and you wait. You strain. You check the time, knowing you have to leave for work or start your day, but your body simply refuses to cooperate. You feel heavy, bloated, and distinctly toxic. It is a feeling of incompleteness that hangs over you like a dark cloud, draining your energy before the morning has even truly begun. Most people accept this struggle as a normal part of aging. They think that as the years go by, the body just naturally slows down and things stop working as efficiently. I am here to tell you that this is a lie. It is not normal. It is a warning sign. It is a flashing red light on your dashboard telling you that your body's waste disposal system has stalled. In the next few minutes, I am going to show you how to reactivate your body's natural peristalsis. This is the rhythmic, wave-like motion that automatically moves waste through your system. We are not just going to talk about eating more fiber, because quite frankly, that is the advice that got many of you into this mess in the first place. We are going to talk about how to lubricate the exit strategy. If you ignore this, if you continue to force your body to struggle, that stagnant waste does not just sit there, it begins to ferment. It recirculates toxins back into your bloodstream, which is exactly why you feel brain fog, fatigue, and sluggishness. We need to clear the line, and we need to do it today. Now, before I hand you the solution, I need to stop you from making a massive, irreversible nutritional mistake. You have probably been told 1,000 times to eat more fiber, eat more bran, or buy those cardboard-tasting cereals. I need you to stop doing that immediately until you understand the mechanics of what we are about to discuss. Why am I delaying the reveal? Because fiber, without the correct activation agent, is not a broom that sweeps you clean. It is concrete. Think about a dry sponge on your kitchen counter. It is hard, scratchy, and stiff. If you try to push that dry sponge through a narrow pipe, it will get stuck. It will create a blockage. This is exactly what happens when you load up on dry fiber without understanding the hydration mechanics of your colon. If you put dry fiber into a dehydrated colon, you are building a wall, not a doorway. To understand the solution, we must first look at the engineering of your inner plumbing. Let me tell you about a case that perfectly illustrates this widespread failure. Let's call him Robert. Robert is 62 years old, a man who has always tried to be health conscious. He started noticing that his digestion was slowing down. He wasn't sick in the medical sense, but he was uncomfortable. So he did what every magazine and commercial told him to do. He went to the supermarket and bought the most expensive high-fiber brand cereal he could find. He bought psyllium husk powder. Every morning, he would eat a bowl of dry flakes with a splash of milk, and he would force down a spoon of dry fiber powder. He thought he was doing the right thing. He thought he was scrubbing his system clean. But within 2 weeks, Robert didn't feel lighter. He felt heavier. His bloating doubled. He felt like he had a brick sitting in the pit of his stomach. He was confused and frustrated because he was following the rules. The twist here is that Robert wasn't suffering from a disease. He was creating a biological traffic jam because he ignored the hydro-lipid balance. He was trying to push a dry rock through a dry tube. His colon, which was already struggling for moisture, sucked every drop of fluid out of that fiber, turning it into a hard, impassable mass. Robert was inadvertently cementing his own digestive tract. Once we changed just one liquid element in his routine and altered the state of the fiber he was consuming, everything changed. Within 24 hours, the blockage cleared and his system reset. To understand why Robert failed and why you might be failing too, we have to look at your colon not as a holding tank, but as a muscular tube designed for motion. This system relies on a process called peristalsis. Imagine a snake swallowing an egg. You see those rhythmic squeezes pushing the object down? That is your gut. It is a conveyor belt of muscles contracting and relaxing in a perfect sequence. When this rhythm is active, you don't even have to think about going to the bathroom. It just happens. But as we age, the nerve sensors that trigger this squeezing motion can get dull. However, the biggest enemy, the true saboteur of this conveyor belt, is dehydration disguised as hydration. I want you to stop and ask yourself a question right now. Be honest. Do you drink coffee or tea first thing in the morning before you have had a significant amount of water? I want you to type yes in the comments below if this is your habit. Don't be shy, just type yes. I'm asking because I need you to see how common this is. While coffee can stimulate a bowel movement for some, it is also a diuretic. If your body is already dehydrated from 8 hours of sleep and you hit it with caffeine, you are drawing fluid away from the colon precisely when it needs it most to lubricate the waste. You are drying out the tracks just before the train tries to leave the station. This brings us to the villain of our story. The common enemy is not a virus or a bacteria. It is the modern dry breakfast. We have been conditioned to believe that toast, crackers, bagels, and dry oats are the foundation of a healthy start. But think about the physics of a piece of dry toast. What happens when you drop a piece of toast into a bowl of water? It sucks the water up instantly. It swells. When you eat dry, flour-based foods, your stomach has to work incredibly hard to turn that dry mass into a liquid soup called chyme. To do this, your body must steal water from your blood, your lymphatic system, and your tissues to secrete enough gastric juices to liquefy that bread. This is a process of gastric theft. Your digestion is stealing hydration from the rest of your body. By the time this food reaches your colon, the colon is parched. It tries to reclaim water from the waste to keep you alive, leaving the stool hard, dry, and stuck. We need to stop this cycle of theft. We need to introduce foods that donate fluid to the body rather than stealing it. We need a biological lubricant that holds on to water all the way through the digestive tract, ensuring that the exit is slippery and effortless. We need to fundamentally shift how we view hydration. It is not just about drinking water, it is about holding water. You can drink 3 liters of water a day, but if your mineral balance is off, or if you are eating foods that act as sponges, you will simply urinate that water out while your tissues remain dry. This is a condition known as cellular dehydration. Your blood might be hydrated, but your gut lining is dry. We need a delivery system, a vehicle that carries the water past the stomach, past the small intestine, and deposits it right where it is needed, in the colon. This brings us to the superfuel that changes everything, the mucilage matrix. We are talking about gel-forming seeds, specifically chia or ground flax, but you must understand the transformation they undergo. When you drop these seeds into water, they don't just get wet, they explode into a gelatinous shield, expanding up to 12 times their original size. This newly formed gel is the secret weapon. It does not digest in the stomach. It travels intact like a friction-free squad all the way to the colon. It coats the walls, hydrates the dry zones, and creates a slippery sweep that makes straining obsolete. Let's look closer at the physics of this mucilage matrix. Unlike the scratchy bran fiber that acts like sandpaper against your delicate intestinal lining, mucilage is a hydrocolloid. This means it binds water into a structural network. When you consume this gel, you are not just eating a seed, you are eating a time-released hydration capsule. As it moves through your small intestine, it creates a soothing barrier. This is critical for anyone suffering from leaky gut or inflammation. The gel acts like a bandage, calming the irritated tissues. But the real magic happens when it reaches the large intestine. In the large intestine, this gel creates bulk, but it is soft, yielding bulk. It gently presses against the walls of the colon. This pressure is the key signal. Embedded in the walls of your colon are stretch receptors, biological switches that tell your brain it is time to go. When you eat processed food, there is no bulk, so the switches never get flipped. When you eat dry fiber, the bulk is hard and painful, causing cramping. But the mucilage gel provides the perfect, gentle pressure to activate those stretch receptors without irritation. It reactivates the conveyor belt naturally. Furthermore, this gel is the favorite food of your microbiome. Your good bacteria, the little workers that keep your immune system strong, thrive on this type of soluble fiber. When they consume it, they produce short-chain fatty acids like butyrate. Butyrate is a fuel source for the cells lining your colon. So, by consuming this gel, you are not just lubricating the track, you are feeding the engine. You are repairing the machinery of your gut from the inside out. Now, we must discuss the execution. You cannot just sprinkle these seeds on your yogurt and hope for the best. That is the amateur method, and it yields amateur results. We need an architectural blueprint for the internal shower method. This is a precise protocol designed to flush the system. Here is the exact architectural blueprint for the internal shower method. Step 1 is the pre-soak, and this is where most people fail. You must soak 1 tablespoon of seeds for at least 15 minutes, or ideally overnight, to fully activate that gel shield. If you eat them dry, they will steal moisture from your gut and seal you up. You want to see a physical transformation in the glass. The seeds should look like frog spawn, suspended in a thick, viscous fluid. If the water is still thin and runny, it is not ready. You need that viscosity. That thickness is the lubricant. Step 2 is the thermal trigger. You must mix this gel with warm water. Cold water shocks the gut and constricts the capillaries. Warm water relaxes the smooth muscle and signals the valves to open. Think of your gut like a clenched fist. Cold water makes it clench tighter. Warm water allows the hand to open. We want to induce a state of relaxation in the enteric nervous system. The water should be comfortably warm, like a bath, not scalding hot. This temperature mimics the body's internal environment and signals safety to the digestive tract. Finally, activate the mixture with a squeeze of lemon to stimulate the liver or a pinch of Celtic salt to fire the electrical signals in your muscles. Drink this on an empty stomach, 20 minutes before food, and you have effectively pushed the eject button on your digestive system. Let's break down the activator. The lemon juice provides citric acid. This acidity mimics the gastric juices of the stomach, priming the pump. But more importantly, the sour taste stimulates the liver to release bile. Bile is nature's detergent. It breaks down fats, but it also serves as a powerful peristaltic stimulant. If your bile flow is sluggish, your bowels will be sluggish. The lemon juice is the spark plug that ignites this engine. The Celtic salt, or pink Himalayan salt, is equally crucial. We are not talking about table salt, which is a processed chemical that causes hypertension. We are talking about mineral-rich salt that contains magnesium, potassium, and sodium. These are electrolytes. Your muscles, including the muscles of your colon, run on electricity. If you are electrolyte deficient, your bowel contractions will be weak and ineffective. By adding a pinch of high-quality salt, you are charging the battery. You are ensuring that when the signal to go is sent, the muscles have the power to execute the command. The timing is the final variable in this equation. You must drink this elixir on an empty stomach. Why? Because an empty stomach allows the liquid to pass through the pyloric sphincter, the valve at the bottom of the stomach, rapidly. If you mix this with a heavy breakfast of eggs and toast, it gets trapped in the stomach while the protein digests. We want this gel to race ahead of the food. We want it to lubricate the slide before the traffic comes down. That 20-minute gap between the drink and your breakfast is the window of opportunity where the cleaning crew goes to work. I have to warn you about the alternative. I know how tempting it is to just take a pill. Laxatives, especially the stimulant kind, are a trap. They work by irritating the nerve endings in your colon, forcing a violent contraction to expel the irritant. It is a chemical assault on your body. If you rely on these, your bowel eventually forgets how to work on its own. The nerves become desensitized. You develop what we call a lazy bowel or laxative dependence. We are not trying to irritate the gut. We are trying to retrain it. We are rehabilitating the system, reminding the muscles how to work by giving them the right tool for the job. Of course, what we are describing here is nutritional advice to support your body's natural functions. It acts as a lifestyle support, not a replacement for medical advice or the regimen prescribed by your doctor. I want to ask you another question, and I want you to be honest with yourself. Have you ever felt that if you don't take a pill or a supplement, nothing happens? That panic of, I can't go on my own? Just type yes below if you have felt that dependency. That is the loop we are breaking today. We are giving control back to your body's engineering. We are moving from a model of forcing the body to a model of supporting the body. However, the internal shower protocol is the foundation, but we need to support it with 3 pillars of maintenance to ensure this works long term. You cannot just drink the mixture and then sit on the couch all day. The body is a hydraulic pump system that requires movement and proper alignment to function. Pillar number 1 is the squat. The modern toilet is designed incorrectly for human anatomy. It is a design flaw in civilized society. When you sit at a 90-degree angle, there is a muscle called the puborectalis muscle that chokes the rectum to prevent incontinence. It acts like a kink in a garden hose. This is useful when you are walking around, but it is counterproductive when you are trying to eliminate. By using a small footstool to elevate your knees above your hips, you unkink that hose. You straighten the rectal canal. It is simple mechanics. You are aligning the pipe so that gravity can do the work. If you don't have a stool, even lifting your heels or leaning forward can help, but getting those knees up is the biological key. Pillar number 2 is the oil change. Your colon needs healthy fats to keep the walls flexible. We often think of fiber, but we forget lubrication. Taking a spoonful of high-quality extra virgin olive oil or MCT oil can help grease the tracks. This is different from the fiber gel. This is about cellular health and lubrication. The fatty acids in olive oil help to dampen inflammation in the gut lining. A stiff, inflamed gut cannot contract properly. The oil softens the tissue, making it pliable and responsive. It also stimulates the release of bile, reinforcing the effect of the lemon water. Pillar number 3 is movement. Walking is the pump for the lymphatic system and the gut. The vibration of your feet hitting the ground stimulates the internal organs. We live in a sedentary world. We sit in cars, we sit at desks, we sit on sofas. When we sit, our abdominal cavity is compressed and everything stagnates. You need to walk to pump the waste out. A brisk 20-minute walk, specifically after a meal, helps to mobilize the food and regulate blood sugar. It is the mechanical activation that complements the chemical activation of the mucilage gel. There's also a psychological component to this that we must acknowledge. The gut is often called the second brain. It is lined with millions of neurons. It produces serotonin. When you are stressed, your gut clenches. When you are anxious, your digestion stops. This is the fight or flight response. Your body thinks it is in danger, so it shuts down non-essential functions like digestion to divert energy to your muscles.
If you are constantly stressed, rushing through your morning, eating while standing up or checking emails, you are telling your body that it is not safe to release waste. You must create a safe zone for your digestion. This means sitting down to eat, chewing your food thoroughly, taking a few deep breaths before you start your meal, and in the morning giving yourself enough time so that you are not rushing the process. The internal shower works best in a body that is in a parasympathetic state, a state of rest and digest. You are not destined to struggle in the bathroom for the rest of your life. This is not a curse of aging. It is a mismatch between your biology and your habits. By moving from dry, abrasive fiber to a hydrated, slippery mucilage gel, you are finally supporting your body's natural engineering instead of fighting against it. You are turning a dry, stagnant riverbed into a flowing stream. You are providing the medium in which your biology can function optimally. I want you to try the internal shower protocol for just 3 days. Do not expect a miracle in hour 1. Your body needs time to hydrate and soften the old waste. It took years to create this situation. Give your body 72 hours to begin the reversal. But watch how your body responds over those 3 days. Watch the bloating decrease. Watch your stomach flatten. Watch your energy return as the toxic burden is lifted. A clean gut is the absolute foundation of a clear mind and a vibrant life. You deserve to feel light again. You deserve to start your day without that heavy burden. Remember, health is not about adding more complications. It is about removing the obstacles that prevent your body from healing itself. The obstacle here is dryness. The solution is the mucilage matrix. It is simple, it is affordable, and it is profoundly effective. I'm your advocate for the truth about your health. If you found this information vital, please check out our other great video about how to empty your bowels every morning, the natural colon cleanse, which goes even deeper into the foods that support this process. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss a strategy that could save your health. See you in the next video.
Click right here to keep the flow going and take the next step in your health mastery.